Hey friend, and welcome to the final video in this series of New Year, New Job. In this video, we're going to talk all about interview day. If you haven't watched the previous 3 videos, I really recommend that you go and do so because you're going to need that context to prepare and be ready for this final video all about your interview. So you made it to interview day. First of all, congratulations, because you bet a lot of other people to getting here in this room today. Now, interviews can be really scary, but with the right preparation, you can really set yourself up for success. That all you have to do is show up, shine, and do your best. It goes without saying, but make sure you bring your portfolio to your interview and be ready to talk about it. It is likely that some question is going to come up, and if you have your portfolio ready to go, it's going to help you a lot in answering that question and showing your skills as a designer. Alright, when it comes to interview day, there are a few things that the hiring manager and the team interviewing you is going to be looking for. And that is passion, potential, and skills. So let's talk about each of those. Let's start with passion. So the hiring managers and team members are really going to look for whether you have passion about the role, the company, and design in general. This is where any previous research you've done on the company, like we talked about in a past video, is really going to come into play. Companies are going to look for somebody who is motivated, inspired, and enthusiastic, not only about design, but about design at this company. So any previous research that you've done is going to really come into play here. Make sure that you show your enthusiasm. Show your enthusiasm for solving problems, for building products, and for working with people. The next is potential. Now, companies are really going to be looking for someone who has potential to learn, to grow, and to adapt. I personally would much rather hire someone who maybe doesn't have a high level of design skill, but has a lot of potential, over somebody that might have a lot of design experience, a lot of design skill, but maybe they don't have a lot of potential. Maybe they're really stuck in their ways and not really open to adapting or having much willingness to learn and fulfill their potential within this company or this role. The next is skill. Now, your portfolio obviously is going to be a place to demonstrate your design skill and design chops, but there are other soft skills that are equally as important. Things like your ability to communicate, your ability to document, your ability to be well presented. These are skills that are equally as important and things that can only really be picked up on in person during an interview. Hiring managers will likely be trying to gauge an impression on what you're like to work with and how you make decisions. So make sure that you're providing a good impression on these areas too. Next is the actual interview itself. So make sure you're prepared to talk about your case studies. You want to know your case studies front to back. Now, practice if you have to. I know designers who have practiced their case studies in front of a mirror even. You don't have to go to that extent, but just make sure you know your case studies well and have the ability to tell a story. Also, make sure you come to the interview with questions prepared. It's never a good sign if a candidate doesn't have much curiosity and doesn't have many questions for me about the role or the team or the company. Now, I have made a video all about what kind of questions to ask in a design interview, so I'll make sure to link that. Go and watch that, check it out. That should hopefully inspire you and get the ball rolling on some kind of questions that you want to come prepared with. Lastly, show confidence. Confidence is really important in an interview. You want to appear confident, well presented, make sure you have good posture. Make sure you also maintain eye contact. That is really important in an interview, and just generally come across as somebody that is confident and well-spoken. Another common part of a design interview is either a take-home assignment or a design challenge. Now, take-home assignments are typically given to you in advance. This is a kind of brief or homework assignment that you'll do at home in your own spare time. Typically spend about a day on it, and then you might bring the final sort of case study presentation version of that assignment to present in your interview. Now, I've done a whole video on how I did my take-home assignment for when I got my job at Uber. I will link that. You can go and watch that to learn about the design process that I interpreted when I did my take-home assignment. Instead, I want to talk about on-the-spot design challenges. This is where the interviewer might give you a tiny little brief or a little problem to tackle or solve on the spot. They're probably going to give you a pen and a whiteboard or maybe somewhere to sketch, and they're going to want you to talk through how you would approach solving that problem. Now, don't be afraid to ask clarifying questions. When I actually did my on-the-spot design challenge at Uber, at first I didn't quite understand the challenge they were giving me or the problem they wanted me to solve, so I actually asked a lot of questions. I tried to clarify, I tried to learn more about the problem, understand the goals and what they wanted me to solve, and that then allowed me to actually better solve the problem and do the challenge. And asking clarifying questions, there's no harm in that, there's nothing wrong with it. If anything, it's actually going to make you look better and look like someone who really wants to try and understand a core problem before diving into solutions. As you're working through this challenge, don't do it in silence. Make sure you're talking through your process, you're telling the hiring manager what you're thinking, what you're going through. Basically, speak what you're doing as you're going through the challenge. If you're just sitting there in silence sketching, they're not going to really get to understand the process that you're trying to go through and how you're actually approaching solving this problem. So make sure you speak to what you're doing. So in summary, remember, hiring managers are looking for passion, potential, and skill. Be prepared to speak towards your design process, show your portfolio, and tell the story of your case studies when it comes to your portfolio presentation. If you're put on the spot and asked to do a design challenge, don't worry, don't stress, don't freak out. Take a breath, ask any necessary clarifying questions if you have them, and just give it your best shot. And don't forget to talk and walk through what you're doing so they can understand how you're approaching the problem. So this video actually brings us to the end of my series on New Year, New Job. Whether you are a graduate or a design student looking for your first job, your first internship, or maybe you're a more seasoned designer looking to get your next step in your career, I do hope that this series has been really helpful for you. If you have any feedback or extra tips that you want to share about this topic, please do leave them in the comments below. I will read through all of them as much as I can. Anyway, I hope that this helped you, and if you're applying for a new job, best of luck, you got this. Thank you so much for watching this series. Have a great day. Bye-bye.